April 17th, 2020, again, here as you can see, Grandad Park. A distinction without a meaningful difference. That was something that Jordan Sekulow said. You know, Jay Sekulow, American Center for Law and Justice, Jay Sekulow and his son Jordan Sekulow are discussing about all these scenarios about how this biological terror, got out from that lab. Of course, everybody's on that page now. That's great. We've been on that page since December of last year. I've had that figured out, not to sound, Ray's so smart. No, it's just 35 years of experience, knowing the language, knowing how the Communist Party thinks, getting information from within China. But the reason Jordan said that, a distinction without a meaningful difference, it's like the results of this are the same. 138,000 people in the world have died, and I'm here to tell you, many, many, many more people have died in China. So, this is a horrible thing that's happened here. And yes, the Communist Party is 100% responsible, 100% responsible. Now, how do you get them to pay? Well, I'm going to tell you one thing for sure, with 100% surety, the Communist Party will not acknowledge anything they have done wrong, right? This is where you get into the human nature of man, where they're not going to admit that they're a sinner, not going to admit that it is, and within the context of a communist, dictatorial, tyrannical leadership, they are not going to admit, they're not going to make restitution, they're not going to pay money. Even just recently, we recognize that there were more died than we said. Well, that's just a propaganda ploy, because they know they're getting hammered by the world about all the criticism that there can't be that few numbers in China. Well, all that stuff doesn't matter to the communist mindset. It's all about never admitting they did anything wrong. Why? Because they put themselves in the position of God Almighty. Right? It goes back to Isaiah 14. Don't have time, but when Satan said, I want, I want, I want, I want, I want. The 5 I wants. Look at it. Go the first one. He wants the throne of God in heaven. And that's the way the Communist Party. And of course, unfortunately, man falls into sin with Adam and Eve, and sin spreads into the world, and that heart, it comes from the devil. Yeah, but we're responsible for our actions. But how do you get them to pay? Well, it's like the Chinese word is togo, and that means you separate your relationship with them. You break it off, right? And they're the biggest, largest trading partner. And I get that you want to, they're not going to work at this point. They're not going to work unless it's still under their terms. We've got to remove them from power. And I'm not talking about shooting missiles and, biological, chemical, and nuclear weapons on them. I'm talking about take the money away. You can do that, Donald Trump, and I know he's doing it. You can do that, United Nations, United Nothing, right? But freeze the assets, go after the money of all these, grandsons and granddaughters and relatives of all these leaders. It's money in California, it's money in other countries. I mean, New Zealand, all these, Australia, European nations, little island countries. There's money all over the place. Hunt it down. It can't be that hard to find a lot of it and make them pay. So that's how you do it. And as far as the leadership, they're going to have to be either removed or, God help the Chinese, have somebody within the ranks. And I pray about the military. I actually have government leaders' names that I know that I think might be someone that would side with a military unit and say, that's it for Marxism, communism. We're giving this junk up. We're going to move toward a whole different mindset. But I go back to Dr. Sun Yat-sen. I go back to that when I share my Bible studies with the Chinese every night. I talk openly, knowing that on WeChat that the government is listening, is I tell them, I said, you've got your example in Dr. Sun Yat-sen. 105 years ago. He believed in Jesus Christ in Hawaii. He's the founder of modern China. Well, then emulate what he did. And that's believe in Jesus Christ as a teenager and follow Jesus Christ and know he was not a perfect man. Neither am I, and neither are you. But he was a follower of Jesus Christ. And that's what I pray for the Chinese leadership. Just turn away from Marxism, communism, all that junk, and turn to Jesus Christ. and then stop the abortions and stop the onslaught. Fortunately, they don't like the onslaught of homosexuality. And yeah, and that doesn't say much for the Taiwanese leader, does it? No, that is so sad that a leader like that openly, and of course that's the last thing we need in America, is to have a gay or lesbian leader. Oh my Lord, please don't let that happen. We're going down even faster. It's like racing down the precipice into the cavern to be crashed to death. Yeah, that's the morality of that stuff. So Lord help them to turn to the belief of Dr. Sun Yat-sen. That's my prayer. Okay, thank you.